Something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! There's something weird and it don't look good. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters! I ain't afraid of no ghosts. If you see things running through your head, who can you call? Ghostbusters! An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Oh, who you gonna call?
Hey, everybody. I'm Brandon Moe, and I'm going to be your host here. This is the South Dakota Ghostbusters podcast. We haven't done one since, I think, September. So we're going to talk about a few things today. We're going to talk about a little bit about our history as a group. And then we got a couple of our group members that have been with us for quite a while, and we're going to bring those in and talk. And after that, we're going to talk about some events that we got coming up, and that should wrap it up. Let me bring in my co-host Scott. Hello, Scott. How you doing?
Good. How is everybody?
I'm doing good. Friday, the weather's nice. I can't complain.
Good. Good. I've been a bit under the weather, so bear with me on this one, but I'm here, suited
Well,
up
I,
somewhat.
I, I have too for about 2 weeks. I've had a terrible kind of cough and just won't go away. And every once in a while, I get a frog in my throat. But other than that, I'm feeling quite a bit better than I was a couple days ago. But all right, so
Better than
Scott,
a ghost. Better than a ghost in your throat, I guess, right?
right. All right. So Scott's going to be the co-host tonight. So Scott, you're kind of known for a lot of different cosplay characters. How about you talk a little bit about how you got into cosplay, and you can kind of roll that into how you found the Ghostbusters group and why you stay with us.
Okay. Well, I got into cosplay because of my own personal experience with cancer. I mean, I was always interested in the genres, the pop culture, of course. I was reading comic books. You know, that's was a way that my dad um, helped me learn to read was to start me on comic books, and that was a common thing uh, back in the day. I mean, maybe still, I would say, just because you got the fun, and then you learn to read along with it. So got started into that, and that was always that history of movies, the comics, and those things are just fun. And when I found out about just different especially as things took off more on the pop culture end, especially after Big Bang
Right.
Theory.
Oh,
Something
right. Yeah.
came
Became
out
very
a little
popular.
more
Yeah.
to be more popular. Yeah, I started getting into locating various groups. One being the South Dakota Ghostbusters, actually being probably the first one. So I'll kind of start out on that, and then
Oh,
kind of
really? I
come
didn't
off.
even know that we were like the first one.
Yep. Well,
I didn't really ever think about it, but yeah, I guess we probably were.
you were, because in like 2015, 2016, I had a little bit of a where I saw some, I think you had some promotional material out there. And my
Probably. Yeah.
son Noah was at the time 7 or 8.
Okay.
And he was just discovering, because of the 2016 movie, he was seeing these promos and commercials for the 2016 Ghostbusters. And I said, well, son, before we even go to see that, you need to watch where this all started and what this really was. And then, I obviously, him being his age, he was, was careful introducing him kind of to, because it still has some adult scary
Right.
stuff. So kind of, so he
Yeah.
took off really with the cartoons, with the real Ghostbusters cartoons and some of the stuff that was built a little more for kids, and then got him, slowly where he started watching, as I explained things in the different Ghostbusters original movies. And then we reached out to you because we felt like hey, I've always wanted to make it look like you have a suit that popped out of the movie, out of
Hmm.
anything
Hmm.
really. And I did. I used to make some pretty elaborate costumes, not belonging to a group, but just doing different events as far as like costume parties or masquerade parties, and
Hmm.
just for my own fun props in general. And yeah, and then I think you reached back out and said, "Hey, we're doing the zombie walk at that
Yep.
time."
Yep.
And
Yep.
then rest was history, so to speak. And then here's Noah, and he suited up with me, and he had a blast. It was a fun bonding thing to
Oh,
do.
and we always so much enjoyed Noah being at events. He was always such a fun kid and just such a good attitude.
Yeah. So yeah, and then just as you come along in the cosplaying, you always look to how can I improve this? How can I make this better?
Right.
I still have yet that feeling, and I'll get there with our own equipment with Ghostbusters. Um, and among my things, my Daredevil I do with the villains and the heroes.
Yeah, I was gonna say list off all the characters that you
Oh
currently are doing.
man, we hope is this an hour? Or how long is this?
Right.
All right. Well, so for heroes, besides Ghostbusters, we represent, of course, ourselves, but we're in our
Right.
Ghostbusters attire, which has many dynamics. You can mash up all kinds of fun stuff that goes along with that. But then now going outside of our Ghostbusters group, the heroes and villains,
Hmm.
um, and then the 621st Detention Squad. And if for the people that aren't familiar with that, that is a group that is of the 501st, the Rebel Legion, Mando Mercs, all the licensed Lucasfilm costuming groups got involved with them. Was
Hmm.
very interested in how they do their approval processes. Their Noah got involved with that, and then that led me into as well with the um, heroes. And then once I did the heroes, so my Mandalorian I had a hand solo. There were some, some things here and there on the pants that I never
Hmm.
really,
Hmm.
got too dialed
Well,
in
and
on.
their approval process is ridiculous.
Their approval process is pretty tight. So, but my Mando got completely approved. I did make a few appearances in the solo outfit. So those were my Star Wars. The Mando Mercs and solo. Then I did, and it was like the 77 solo was mine because
Hmm.
each of them
Hmm.
have their own, CRL, they call them to create those
Right.
costumes. Anyway, so then another group, heroes and villains.
Hmm.
And in relation with the South Dakota Ghostbusters, Brian Downs,
Right.
through him, that was
Hmm.
my contact there. And then with heroes, man, just because the comic books is where I was so um entrenched into um, that culture so much that I did I did a Daredevil, Netflix Daredevil. I felt extremely accurate. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's
that one
very very impressive. Yeah.
came out good. I did years before that. I did a Wolverine
Hmm.
from X Men, the first X Men. And then I did.
You got a
Uh,
Wolverine in the background.
I do. Let's see, and then I have a Flash from the CW. I have a
Oh yeah, I
Zoom
forgot about your Flash and Zoom. Yeah, those are really good too.
CW, and then I do have a Cyclops from um,
Yep.
X Men. More like X Men Two, I think. These
Yep.
are all the original type. I have Hellboy.
Hmm.
That one's more prosthetic-y type. I don't
Right.
use
You don't pull that one out very often.
Not too often because it's anything that the Mandalorian one takes quite a bit to put on all the armor
Yeah.
and to wear it is you can only be in those one type of costumes for so long.
Yep.
And it starts to become heavy and hot and
Yeah. Yep.
Hellboy can be hot and heavy. And then
uh,
the Tony Stark. I have a Tony Stark, which the racing Tony Stark, and then just
yep.
Tony Stark in Nano, and then also, um, just however, that one's pretty versatile. Just grow the facial hair and
Right.
let's
Well,
blow
well, and
things
two,
up.
you forgot we got to plug our Krampus that we do.
Yep, yep. And then here later on, always wanted to do a Krampus just because the tradition, the German tradition, the um, just the look, and then that Krampus movie, the original one with
Hmm.
that the style that the that director did, that was really, I thought, very intriguing style. And so my Krampus, I decided to do a lot of customization and allowing in some a lot of in any most of all or a lot of
Right. Well, and
customization.
that's the nice thing about Krampus is that there really isn't any set rules, and you can kind of do, for the most part, within our group. It's you can do pretty much what you want. We kind of an outline of what we want it to look like, but I mean, there isn't a whole lot of rules yet.
Yeah, you just want, I
And
think our
yeah,
main thing is just to have a presence that appears
right.
pretty real,
Right,
And
right,
I
and so,
think
so we did last December. We did that. It's Sioux Falls Krampus Knot. We're on Facebook, and we're going to be doing at least one event before Christmas next year, and we'll name drop that here towards the end of the podcast.
Mhm.
Um, but I guess let's see. So let's move on, and let's talk. Let's just talk a little bit. This is our 10th anniversary.
Yeah,
Um, So so I had this crazy idea. Well, it was before 2014, but that's when I really started getting a little momentum with it. And so I started a Facebook page. It was December of 2014 um, when I started things. And so 2015 and now so it's technically a little over 10 years. But anyway, um, I started off with, I think it was probably about 2009. I decided to build a proton pack, and it was just something for myself. It's something I always wanted to do. Um, I had a new job and had some extra cash, and so like I just started collecting parts and uh, building stuff. And um, I go out in public and people get really excited about it. And so that was kind of the first little spark where I thought, the people are interested in this. And so as time went on, um, it's just kind of laid in the back of my mind for a while. And um, then there was talk of the new Ghostbusters movie that came out in 2016, and um, there started to be some momentum on our Facebook page. And yeah, I put a post out there that it was like kind of, hey, anybody want to go and do a um, thing for Zombie Walk that year. And lo and behold, a bunch of people showed up, Scott being one of them. And I wasn't too sure about him at first, but
still
I,
not too
I
sure about.
actually I think if I remember right, didn't you actually miss walking with us because you came back around after the event?
I
Like
think
I
I got part of the we got part of the walk, and then we passed a building right when we got up to the building that I used to work at. There was coworkers that were watching from the second floor.
ah
So we went up there quick to say hi. Well, quick turned into it didn't
yeah,
last
yeah,
very quick. So yes, and then we by the time we ended up joining you back because we were gonna like you said, well, meet us down at this other part when we come around this other part of the route. The route was really goofy. I remember on top of
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and then by the time Noah and I and Noah's like, well, he and not to I'm not it's probably more my fault than him because I'm the dad, but he got interacting with some of the kids that were in the office
Oh,
building.
sure, sure.
Everybody they were impressed with the equipment that we had at that time, and
Yeah, the very very early day stuff.
yeah, it was very early day stuff. It was fun, and but I do remember, at that time you had Ecto
Yep, I did.
in its infancy.
Yep, it was Mark One of Ecto. I had just gotten it. It it I've wanted a hearse pretty much most of my life. I guess probably since 1984 I've wanted a hearse, and so yeah, I started having adult money, and I tracked one down that was close by on eBay, and I won the auction, and we went and got it. And soon as I got it, I'm like, yeah, I'm turning this into an ecto. So if the group had existed or not, it was still going to be an ecto. It was still going to be something fun for me to drive around. Um, but yeah, I think the ecto is what kind of pushed things to the next level. That's what really got people excited. Um, we're currently on like version, I don't know, version 5, 6 of the ecto, because we've had the original one, which we retired. We have the Crown Vic that we keep as a pursuit vehicle,
Mhm.
and which is way easier to drive in Sioux Falls than a big 24-foot hearse that probably doesn't really stop on a dime anymore. And then we got a updated one now, which is a 1988 Cadillac, and that's our current version. But yeah, we've expanded over the years, and we've got much better equipment, and we've kind of invested in a lot of different things, and um, yeah, so
And I
it's
think,
it's been fun.
and then to round what you said, and then what you asked me about what's kept things going this entire time for me
Right.
personally,
Yep.
um, is that family. Um, just like a family, you're gonna have you're gonna have some ups and downs, but you always stick together. You have each other's back. You help each other with things not only related to the group and Ghostbusters, but even things that are outside.
Oh
And
yeah.
then main focus is always that we're doing something to try to make a difference somewhere with that
Right.
fun. It's not. I mean, we could always have the get-togethers and just wear our suits and
Right.
admire each other and or hang that stuff up around and people can be impressed with all that. But what it really comes down to is the cause and what you're doing it
Right.
and why you're doing it and the
Right.
kindness, generosity, and that's
Yeah, I
and
mean, over these last 10 years, I mean, we've donated a lot of money to different groups, or been involved in fundraising for different groups. Um, it's I think probably one of the most rewarding things that we've done is when we did the uh, the packaging of the food for lunches served.
yeah, I was gonna say Lunches Serve was probably one of the
Yeah,
most standout recent um,
recent things. Yeah.
things
Yep.
that we've done that I felt was very, we sat there, we had a time, we picked out, or we did they were very organized, which was very nice.
Yep.
That helped. They had
And
a
I guess too, maybe we should explain, if people don't
yeah,
know what Lunches Served is. So they're an organization, they're a nonprofit that provides lunches for people in Sioux Falls that are underprivileged, that might not be able to they call them the working poor. They're people that might not get a good lunch, and so they pack a bag lunch for them. It's got like a sandwich, chips, a drink, maybe something little for dessert, like a snack cake for dessert. But it's just something to get them through the day, so that they don't have to go hungry for lunch because they can't afford it. And so we packaged, what was it, 200, 250 lunches, like I think somewhere around there that day. But it's definitely something we will do again. It was very rewarding, and very enjoyable experience. They were very nice.
yeah, it was great. And Lifescape's been always a real fun,
Oh yeah,
memorable.
yep.
And
We
then
we've
we mix with different groups there on those, and sometimes I'll get a waffle between the groups there with
Yeah,
those,
there,
but
there's a lot of crossover between us cosplay groups. People that are still in this group, or at one time were in this group, and um, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We see a lot of people that we've known for years, and like I said, Lifescape is one that we really enjoy, and we'll continue to do every year. Um, and we've donated and sponsored for SuperCon and Voices Against Cancer. Um, all their conventions. We've sponsored, or we've donated money. we've donated probably, I don't know, a couple $1,000s, if not more, to SuperCon alone. Last year we did a sponsorship for the 605 Pop Culture Con. Yeah, so we try to get out there and you know, do what we can. We're a small group, and you know, I'm not going to be unrealistic, you know, and think that we're going to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that's just not what's going to happen here in South Dakota, because their population will not support that. But anyway, I think I'm getting sidetracked here. So let's bring in um, we've got three members that were have been in our group a long time. Two of them I'm going to call OG members, and another one of them joined not too many years after we got started. So I'm going to bring all of them in one at a time here and just kind of introduce them quick. Um, I think let's go ahead. Who wants to go first? Raise your hand, guys. Okay, Brian. Brian was the first of the gate. All right, let's add Brian in. All right, here's Brian Morgan. How you
Hi.
doing, Brian?
Hello.
Hello. So, Brian, so tell us just a little bit about yourself, and then yeah, just tell us, you know, why did you join? How did you find us? You know, a memory, and what keeps you coming back?
Born and raised here, Sioux Falls. Um, I've always enjoyed Ghostbusters, since I was a kid.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, I'm not the most handy at stuff, but hey, if you need something taken apart, I'm your guy. I will gladly rip stuff apart for you. So I'm
Well,
I'm more
the
like
good
the.
thing about the Ghostbusters group is we got a lot of people that are really handy that can help you with stuff.
If you need demo, I'm your guy. Um, as far as like how I found the group,
Yeah,
um,
how'd you find us?
so there was a documentary I'd seen on Netflix. It was called Ghost Heads,
Yep,
and
yep,
it dealt with um, Ghostbuster cosplay groups. And uh, I didn't know we even had anything like that around here. I mean, the show was really interesting to watch.
hmm
Um, and my wife ended up searching up for anything local, and sure enough, South Dakota Ghostbusters. And I can't remember. I think I ended up messaging the page,
probably, yeah.
and I think I've been with the group since 2017.
God, I think, God, I'd have to look for sure.
I think since 2017.
It was probably early in the year
Yeah.
2017. Yeah. Yep.
Um, at that time, um, I didn't have like a more traditional Ghostbuster uniform. I ended up doing my take on Janine from the original movies,
That's right.
and
Yep.
so I was kind of our secretary.
Yeah. Yep.
I was kind of behind the scenes. Well, now I'm out in the field with y'all. I am our group's kilted buster.
And online, I have to say he gets a lot of attention.
I
He's
didn't quite
probably
catch
one of
that,
the number.
Brandon.
He's one of the one things that people comment on. Is like, I didn't know there was Kilted Ghostbusters.
There's actually a group out there that is what they do is they're kilted.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
can't remember where they're from, but I've seen them. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I enjoy kilts. I've got a few of them of my own, so I'm like, why not incorporate it into cosplay?
Yeah. Works for us.
Yeah. As far as like memories go, I think probably one of the coolest things was, just this past SuperCon, we had Billy Bryan as our guest,
Hmm.
and he was the one that designed and actually wore the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man costume in the first movie. That's been like one of my favorite characters from the movies and from the cartoon.
And not only is Stay Puff larger than life, I think he is also larger than life. He's got a lot of personality. I was surprised. Like, so when we first sponsored him, he reached out to me on Facebook almost immediately, and he wanted me to see if like I could find a band for him to play because he wanted to sing, like he wanted to put on like a little show, and I'm like, I really don't know anybody, um, but the really cool thing about him is that all last year and now even just a couple weeks ago, he still comments on our stuff all the time. I I figured that it would just be like a thing that would like fizzle out, and that once he didn't owe us anything, he'd like quit commenting on stuff. But yeah, like I said, just a couple weeks ago, he was still commenting on stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. Got anything to add, Scott?
Uh, no, I mean, I think that was, I mean, a lot of the cons that we've done are all memorable in their own way.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
there's always something. Yeah.
some kind of fun, um, memories go along with those. The earlier ones always struck me as having they had such a
Oh yeah,
nostalgic feel to them.
they did.
Um,
That I was gonna say when Lee comes on, don't let me forget. Because I got to remind Lee of a good story from the first con that we did.
oh,
Um,
yeah.
but let's bring in our second guest here. I was gonna say, do you got anything else to add, Brian, before we bring in Wayne?
I mean, I'm just gonna reiterate, what Scott said. The group's basically, a family.
Yeah.
We
Yep. Yeah.
besides, lifting up.
We've known each other. We've known each other
Yeah,
for almost a decade.
yeah.
I mean,
I
this.
mean, besides lifting up local charities, we lift up each other.
Yeah. Yep. 100% we do. Yeah. I mean, there's I don't usually go more than a couple days without talking to somebody or multiple people from the group about something. Um, we hang out. We try to do like a Ghostbusters group, you know, picnic or something, and um, yeah, we and too like after events, if we got time, we'll go out to supper together and try to hang
Chinese.
out and yeah,
Have spend the
yeah,
last of the petty cash.
yep,
Yeah.
Chinese. Um, All right, well, let's bring Wayne in. I can see Wayne patiently waiting behind the scene here. All right, let's add Wayne. All right, here's Wayne. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Good, good, good. Staying
Yeah.
out of trouble?
I make no promises, man. But yeah, no, kind of what everyone's saying. Yeah, I kind of it actually how I kind of found the group is you actually reached out to me. Brian, I did see Ghost Heads on Netflix, and believe it or not, shortly thereafter, I got a message from you on through Facebook because one
Really?
of
I
my
completely forgot about that.
Yeah, because it was me in a Halloween costume. Yeah, so I've
I
actually,
vaguely remember that now that you mentioned that.
so yes, I'm on like version 3, or is it 4? I forget. They all blend together. I mean, they're
They
all
do.
khaki.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
except for the navy one.
Right, right.
Actually, I think yeah, because it still would have been the khaki because this was 2016. You actually
Right.
messaged me. Believe it or not, I did not reply back, but that was somewhat intentional because it was getting close to October, and I just so happened was going to be in Sioux Falls for during the zombie walk, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna still dress up. I'm gonna go see, and I found you where you're staging, and just kind
Yep.
of you
Yeah, I
walked up.
remember that now. I remember
Yep.
that now.
And it's like,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, you've messaged me on Facebook, and I replied in person.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember you just you fit in right away and are like, this is good. We're go. This is gonna work.
Yeah. And Brian, you were a little bit because you were at that time had already joined, so it was before 2017. I officially became a member in 2017 because you
Mm.
told me wait until because it was towards the end of the year. You told me wait until you
That's
know
right.
till January, pay your dues, and yeah. So,
Yep, that's right. Yep.
and from there, it's been an experience. Probably one of my most memorable ones is still one of my most memorable ones, and also one of the first. It wasn't the mall walk, but it was a Lifescape event. I forget. It was like is at like a landscaping tree farm or
Oh yeah.
what?
That was
Like the Harvest
garden.
Festival or something like that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was Harvest Festival at like it's a garden center. They
Yep.
were raising money for the teddy bear den, I think, that year.
yeah.
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 But
Going out south on Minnesota, right there is that
Yeah. Yep.
landscape
Anyway,
garden.
as you were saying, Wayne.
yeah, but what makes that one so memorable is it. You mean when the I mean we were there for photo ops and stuff to help raise money and everything, but what really got me was it wasn't. You have all these people come up, you have the kids, you have the adults, they get excited that, we're there in costume, we're there to,
Right.
make everyone's day better. But one of the children that came up was actually blind,
I
and
remember that. Yeah.
they wanted their picture with us. And so, yeah, so that's memorable to me anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. I do. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. That was, and over the years we've met so many nice people. Um, I got a photobomb cat here.
Yay,
but
Mix.
yes, but yeah, I mean, just taking, my love for this, my love for this fandom and whatnot, and actually take it and, do something good, help give back to the community and stuff.
Right.
But
Right.
yes, I mean, it, I mean, they're like, just going out and, making someone's day better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And I mean, it all just goes back to our motto. Suit up, have fun, and make a difference, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, and yes, last year on Ghostbusters Day, which was a Saturday, actually put on my suited up and went about town. Went to the
because
local.
right, Wayne's a little bit further out than everybody else. Everybody else is fairly local. Wayne's all the way out in Pierre, so um, he don't always get to participate as much as we would like him to, or as much as he'd like to. Well, maybe he does. Maybe he can answer that.
Combination. I think a combination of both. But
Yeah.
yeah, but fortunately, though, it just so happens I have, life friends I've known since middle school that live in Sioux Falls. I get to crash at one of their places, and
Right.
which helps, on expenses because driving from Pierre to Sioux
Right.
Falls, you know, can be a lot, and at least I don't have to pay for a hotel.
Right. Right. Yep.
And
Yeah.
also, I do work for the state, so fortunately, if we have work to do and I can help out, I can, you know, go out there and work, get some work done, and then also on the weekend participate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
No, it.
Representation of a South Dakota Ghostbuster being located in South Dakota and part of the 605 in South Dakota.
Right.
Yeah. So before people ask, yes, He-Man's going to make an appearance.
Is that an original He-Man or is that a repop?
It's one of the repros. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
But
well,
yeah,
let's see. We should probably, unless you've got anything else to add, we should probably bring Lee in here.
yeah.
He was a late comer to the party here, so. All right. Well, let's add Lee in. All
Hey
right.
guys.
Hey Lee, how you doing?
Good. Sorry I'm a little late.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably late. We're getting ready for citywide cleanup, so we've been trying to get rid of some stuff, and we're going through our DVD collections. So
What?
Trying to throw out DVDs?
no, just getting stuff ready, so like whatever we're gonna sell.
Oh! It's. I was thinking the citywide cleanups where you put stuff out on the curb,
Well, yeah, that too, but not DVDs. No.
not DVDs. All right. Yeah, I was gonna say curb alerts at Lee's house. He's got DVDs he's
Right.
giving away.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, so Lee has actually he has the distinction of he is actually the first person that joined our group. Um, so go
Yeah,
into a little detail about how you found us and how that all happened,
sure.
and we'll just take it from there.
So yeah, so I mean, like everybody else, I saw the Ghost Heads featurette, which intrigued the heck out of me. And then realizing that there was other groups out there, I thought, well, okay, little podunk, South Dakota, we can't have nothing, right? Um, Came across the Facebook page, and I was like, oh, sweet. And I believe I contacted you through Facebook.
I think so.
Um,
Yeah,
and then yeah, the first event was
Zombie
boy,
Walk.
I think it was Zombie Walk, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a
So
very
like
cold, crappy day.
yeah, it was cloudy and rainy.
Yes,
It was not a great day for a zombie walk.
no,
But we were troopers, and yeah, I can remember the pictures from the event. Like all of us, you can tell it was raining on us. Yeah,
yes, yeah, it was chilly, but it was
yeah,
fun. I mean,
yeah. Oh yeah, we had a blast. Everybody loved us.
definitely,
Yeah, it was the spark that started all this,
yes.
for sure. So yeah, so like I said, you were the first.
Mhm.
Um, so what keeps you coming back?
Well, just the family attitude. Our group is so great. We like Brian said, everybody kind of picks each other up. So something's going on, we're there for each other. I believe, not to throw supernatural in the mix, but I believe it was Dean that always said blood doesn't end with, or family doesn't end with blood. Um,
Right.
and it's so true with our group. I mean, heck, one of my favorite memories is actually that one con where I was walking around with my wife and Noah, and had a guy, one of the vendors, actually say, "Your kid is very cute." From there on, I guess it was kind of like I was like a secondary dad to Noah.
His adopted dad.
So
Oh. Well, and we did the first year we did SuperCon.
mhm,
So
at a
so
Ramcoda.
at the Ramcoda, and Lee is always known for forgetting something,
Yes.
we all stayed in hotels, and Lee forgot like a regular pair of shoes, and so he just had his boots, and
Yes.
so unfortunately after the daycon part of it, we went out and had supper. Actually we ate in, we had pizza there, but yeah, Lee had to wander around with his boots and shorts.
I was styling.
We're styling.
Very, very stylish.
Yes,
but
that.
but 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 it was those early days and just the simplicity of it. And I mean, we just hung out. I mean, at that point we really didn't know each other all that great, but we just hung out and had fun, joked around. And I mean, we've just, after these events, we've done so many fun things. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we I mean, we went to Walmart to pick up some stuff, and we were so tired from being at the con all day and silly. And
Oh
um
yeah. That was Batman heads.
yeah, the Batman heads. We've gone out to supper, like I can't remember what year it was. I think it was the first year that they were at the Denny, that we went to Chevy's, and then remember
Yes.
we saw ourselves on TV.
Yep. Yep.
They had the
We were
news on,
sitting
and
there
we were like,
eating.
yeah, yeah. I mean, where else can you go? And you're out to supper, and then you're on TV because you've been at a con all day. I mean, that's just great.
Kind
Yeah,
of like, well, look, celebrities. Yeah.
yeah, and then yeah, 'cause I remember Noah ordered a hamburger from,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and nothing to say negative about Chevys, but let's just say they're not known for their
Yeah,
hamburgers.
they're not known for their
No,
hamburgers. Yeah, yeah.
definitely not.
Oh,
One of
but yeah,
my
like
favorite.
it's
What's that?
no, no. Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say one of my absolute favorite memories over the years was, like all the guests that we've had. We've mentioned Billy Bryan. We had another official member that we had made that did drawings for comic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eric.
yeah. Eric
Um,
Burnham. Yeah,
and that, I still actually have one of the pictures from the con in my phone. And every now and then when I'm scrolling through looking at other pictures, I come across it and it's like, oh crap, I remember that. Um, and the funny part is it's kind of fitting that this is our decade year. And we started at with SuperCon at the Ramcota.
yeah.
And now this weekend, coming up this next weekend here,
Yep.
on the
Well,
19th, we'll be back
at
at
the
the
Ramcota.
Ramcota
Yeah, yeah, and
for
it's
a different con.
actually it's actually like very close to the date that we did the first SuperCon because I believe
Yeah,
that was like in April, I think
yeah,
that year.
yep,
Yeah,
yeah. Because it was a little bit warm, but not really. It was a little,
yeah.
like, I think one day was chilly.
Well, and it's always nerve-wracking to drive that car anywhere.
Right.
And so that was well, we had done Zombie Walk.
Mhm.
I don't think there was anything else that I had driven that car yet to. Um, so yeah, yeah,
No,
it's
you
always
you were going to put it out of commission, I think, for a few days
probably.
because you had a leak in it that we had
Oh,
to
that's right.
get
That's
fixed.
right. Yep, I
The
did.
transmission fluid or whatever.
Yeah, I had a leak and they had to fix the leak. And so yeah, they got me back on the road and I actually never had any trouble with that leak again. I had other problems, but not the leaky problems.
Fix one, get another.
Yeah, no kidding. Um, but yeah, so let's see. So um that's how you found us. Favorite memory. Um, what keeps you in the group after all these years?
Just the fun. I mean, there's
There's so many
maybe
things.
I'm yeah. I mean, I'm just
It's
a kid
right,
at heart, I guess. But the nostalgia of it, growing up in the '80s and wanting to be Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, and Ernie Hudson, just wanting to be them. And then now, as an adult, thank God for adult money, um, being able to be that, and it's there's no pressure of you have to be the movie people. It's you, which makes it
right,
even better because and back then you were playing as one of the people when you were playing around with your friends,
right,
um, and now it's just like, no, I'm the Ghostbuster. It's me. Um,
right.
that to me kind of really keeps me going. Um, because it's
Well,
kind of like being able
it's
to have Halloween and
right. Well,
you
and
know
you've said multiple times. There's times where you've had kids at your work that
yeah.
recognize you.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I still actually, after last year's con, I actually have a dad and son that come in, and every time they're in Lowe's, they're like, "Oh, hey, that's that Ghostbuster," which is kind of fun. And the kid looks forward to seeing us every year at SuperCon, so which is kind of awesome. But
Yeah, yeah,
um, and then kids just like you say, kids being excited to see you and um, just that whimsical thought in their head that we used to have growing up,
right,
of not, I know this isn't real, but to me, this is it. This is real. This is me
right.
seeing the people on
Right.
the screen.
It's the realest that we can get to it.
Right, right. Yep. So it's kind of nice that, we can bring that reality to to the people. I've seen adults with starry eyes looking at our equipment and stuff, you know, and kind of having
Oh
that.
yeah.
You could see it in their head that they're like, "Oh, I wish I could do this."
Right.
You
Right.
know,
And then you're like, it's not that hard.
right, yeah.
It's not that
And
hard,
I
but
mean,
it's a little pricey.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially, keeping it, what keeps me with the group is the fact that, being with our group, when I started out, I didn't have a whole lot of anything. You were fine with me showing up with just a flight suit and boots when I remembered
Yeah.
them, um, or when I
or
remembered the flight suit.
or your
Um,
belt.
yeah, or the belt, elbow pads, um,
Proton pack.
proton pack. Forgot the trap a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, it's always just been, like you say, it's family. It's if somebody forgets something, hey, it's not a big deal. We got you. Um,
Yeah.
Now, if this was a real job, I probably would have been fired by now. But um,
Oh, funny. I was gonna say, Brian or Wayne, you got anything to add?
It I guess probably one of the most fun moments is probably at this last SuperCon. It wasn't just the attendees get excited.
Yeah.
One of the guests there was Dana De Lorenzo from Ash versus Evil Dead, that series,
Hmm.
and I like that series. So not only did I pay you know yes, I paid to have a picture with her. When I walked up to her booth to have her autograph it, she got excited because of the equipment. Because the equipment, and
Hmm.
actually, when we had the photo taken, she was like, "Hey, let's do something fun." So I have a picture with her holding my Neutrona wand, and I'm have my PKE meter. We did something fun.
Yep. Yep.
So everyone, it's just the people you meet, the fun you have, and it's all goes to a good cause. I
mhm,
Right.
mean,
Right.
which goes back to suit up, have fun, make a difference.
Right.
right,
So as Lee said, even adults, I think everyone's kind of young at heart to a certain extent, and the kids are experiencing it the first time. The adults are getting, the nostalgia wave.
Hmm.
So.
Well, and that's so the the first time I had Ecto out ever was to Zombie Walk. Like I had literally just kind of thrown stuff together to make it look somewhat legitimate. Mark One is not my favorite version, but anyway, we were on our way to Sioux Falls, and we stopped at a stoplight, and it's a rainy day, and like this guy stopped next to us at the stoplight. He like motioned that I'm like to roll down the window, and it's an old car, the windows don't really roll down that great, and he had to yell to me. He's like you brought back my childhood, and like it didn't really dawn on me. Like I'm just like, what is this guy talking about? And then I'm like, oh, we're in this car, and that's one of the things that has stuck with me all these years. And it was just another one of those little sparks that I'm like, I can work with this. I can do something with this. I can create goodwill with this. And so that's one of the things that has just continued to drive me over these 10 years is just um, I do like giving back. I'm not in this to show off. I'm in this to make people happy and to be able to support charities and donate money to charity. um, I mean that's 100% what I want to do. um, and if this group did not exist, if I had not created this group, um, I myself would probably still be doing this stuff on my own.
I'd still be dressing up like a Ghostbuster, but wouldn't be as often.
Right, right,
Be
right.
for Halloween.
uh, well, I was gonna say, Scott, let's move into segment 4,
Okay.
which just looking ahead at some of the stuff we got going on. Let's just talk a little bit about the next event we have on April 19th. Scott, you remember what that is?
Yes, that is the that's at the Ramkota.
Yep, that's at the
And
Ramkota.
yep, and we're gonna have so Screams in the Basement will be part of that one, correct?
No, nope.
Oh, that's
That's the
next one.
next weekend. That's the
Okay, that's the
27th.
following. I mixed that one up. So okay.
Okay.
So we're,
So the 19th is QuadCon, which we've
oh,
done
the
before.
QuadCon. Yep. Okay, QuadCon.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one that we've done before.
Yeah.
We plan to I think they're giving us 30 by 15 or 30 by 10 feet of space. We plan to have the car with, depending on the weather, because you never know with South Dakota and weather and wind. And I mean, unfortunately, I have to drive that car 75 miles there. And on windy days, that is not a fun thing to do. So um, we might have to scale back if we can't bring it, because we'll bring the other car, which is much more aerodynamic, but I can't haul quite as much in that. Um, but we'll have our booth set up. We'll have a bunch of new photo ops ready, and then we've got a few cool new items that we've added to our display. We've got, for one, not to give away any spoilers, but we've got a dancing toaster now.
Nice.
So that'll be something fun that we'll
Fun.
have. We've got also we've got a new wrist neutrona wand from the Frozen Empire movie. I just finished that prop up. And let's see. I don't think there's anything. Well, we got a couple surprises too. A couple
Yeah.
new items there. Couple new photo ops that.
Come see. Come
Just
to
come down.
come to the con and see it.
Come down
Yeah.
to see them. And I think that con runs from 10 to 5. I think it is, if I remember right. Check it out on our website. If you go to our website, southdakota.ghostbusters.com, you can go to our events link, and it will tell you all the events that we're going to be at for the year. So that is probably, well, we should probably mention Scream the 27th. So
Since
the 20
I blended those
Since
dates together.
since you jumped the gun.
I did jump the gun
26.
So
because of the whole
so the,
Krampus thing. We got on that, and that went.
we did.
The Screams in the
So
Basement shot ahead on
so
there on my brain.
April 27th, we will be at the Screams by Night Halfway to HalloweeCon, which is a new con that's starting up. It's a small startup con. It should be a lot of fun. It's going to be at the social in Sioux Falls, and we'll have a booth set up there. It won't be it won't be like our SuperCon size booth, but it'll be just a regular 8-foot table booth. So we'll have some of our props out, and things to look at and things to talk about, and come by, and we'll nerd out about Ghostbusters together, or
Yeah.
or if not, we'll just talk about Ghostbusters ourselves.
So, Brandon, isn't that on the Saturday the 26th?
26, yeah.
Is it the 26th? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, yes.
I have it, for some reason I have it written down as the 27th.
But,
It's like that's let's see, is that Easter weekend? No, that's
That's
the
this weekend.
19th is the
Yeah.
no 19th, yeah. Well, it's the weekend after next, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yes, unfortunately, I will not make next weekends, mainly because, as you pointed out, it is Easter
It
weekend.
is Easter weekend, yeah.
Have family, doing stuff with biological family. And then the next weekend, the 26th, I will be doing stuff with my Ghostbusters family.
There you go. Well, he's got his priorities straight. So well, and so we've got a pretty stacked schedule for this year. We've got 605 Pop Culture Con coming up in June, the last weekend of June, which is the I think it's the 28th and 29th of June. We'll be set up there with a booth and photo ops like like usual. We've got SuperCon again, which will be a little bit earlier in September this year.
Just
Um,
1 week earlier.
just 1 week earlier. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we should have a decent setup there as we usually do. We'll have the car, and we've got I can't give away any spoilers. I had to sign non-disclosure clauses, but we'll have some surprises coming up for SuperCon as usual. Um, but I think that's just about it. And we're right at the 55-minute mark, so we just about hit our hour. Um,
One
Unless
thing
anybody else can think of something they'd like to add, I'll wrap it up here in just a couple minutes.
Okay, I will add that come check us out. Even if you've seen us at a previous event, come check us out again. Our booth is always changing. We always have something new, so it's a different experience every single time.
Definitely.
And two, we gladly take donations to cover our costs and help us move our charitable part of our organization forward, so that we can donate as much possible to charities that we support.
Yep.
And two, we've got general costs too. I mean, banners don't buy themselves, and um, lots of things that we do, like parades and stuff, entry fees, and those type of things don't unfortunately don't pay for themselves, and so we
Right.
do need some donations from time to time to keep that up.
And
But I
like,
would,
share, and follow on our.
yes, like, share, and follow. Yeah, I'll put that up here on the screen. Yeah, tag us on social media. We're
Mhm.
at Ghostbusters on Facebook, Twitter. Well, actually, we're not even on Twitter. I should probably remove that. We're on Blue Sky now. Um, we won't get political, but yeah, I'm not on Twitter anymore.
And at some point in time, I think doing like a little nostalgic like and share your pictures with South Dakota Ghostbusters if you got some
Yeah,
old ones out there.
yeah. If you got
Tag
some old
us.
pictures of us, that would
We'd
be
love to see
awesome.
some of
Definitely.
our
Um,
10 years are here. If you got some oldies but goodies that you want to put up there with us, the team, or anything Ghostbusters, really, you can tag us in there. And
that would be awesome. Yeah, you
Mhm.
can use the hashtag SDGB605 is what we use a lot. So if you've got some pictures and you just want to put them out there, you can tag us in those. Um, but yeah, we've got some fun, interesting things coming up. Um, you know, our booth is always changing. We're always adding new stuff to it, just like Wayne said. Um, and two, I'd just like to thank everybody for supporting us for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's it's a it's amazing. I had no idea that we would last 10 years. I just I At the time I couldn't even fathom it. It's
I
been a
was,
wild and crazy ride.
it's a
Yeah.
labor of love.
been
It
a
is.
privilege, South
Definitely.
Dakota,
Yep.
to
And
handle
It,
your paranormal needs, and you put up with our paranormal jokes.
right. Our bad dad paranormal jokes.
yep.
Um, like I
And
said, we've been doing it 10 years. Hopefully we'll be able to do it another 10 years. Um,
well,
Definitely.
as long as the back it holds out, considering
Yeah,
living
yeah, exactly. It's the
30
ones.
pound
Well, that's why I'm switching over
accelerator.
to the wrist neutrino wand so that I don't have to carry that pack anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much everything I've got. See everybody at the booth. Come check us out at all these events. Make
Okay.
sure to follow us and like us on our Facebook page and other social media. Um, and I guess remember, suit up, have fun, and make a difference. I'm going to kick these guys out, and we'll wrap this up. All right. Thanks, guys, for being on here, and
Yeah.
we'll all see you guys this next weekend.
Sounds
Sounds good.
good.
See you later.
See you guys.
Yeah. Keep it classy, South Dakota.
All right. It's just me left here. like I said, follow us on all our social media, and we will see you guys here in just a couple days. So I think let's wrap it up and see you guys later.